Kristi, could you just tell me a little bit about how your students perceive this, what you see as the advantages to bringing your kids into Second Life and holding the mock trial in the virtual world?
Sure. Well, we did a mock trial with 2 different cases, and what we did was we separated the class into 2 groups, making sure that each person had their own roles. And what was great about that is each person had their own job to do and own responsibility. A few of them had homework assignments, a few of them had tasks in class to do, and all of them had a responsibility by the end of the 5-day period, basically to share their voice. And some of their voices, which are not normally heard in a regular classroom because they're very shy, they were able to be more verbal and more presentable in writing. And so it just made it a little bit easier for some of the people who were shy, and some of the people who were normally verbal had no problem being themselves in writing and outside of writing.
Do you think the depth of understanding or the amount of energy invested in the project is different once we included the element of Second Life?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit more motivation. Getting it set up is always, a little confusing to them because, each time they use Second Life, it's in a different aspect. But once it's set up, they're absolutely engaged and they're motivated and on task.
And what method did you use to assess the kids?
Each task was a little bit different, but depending on their role. Some of it was, if you were a court reporter, their assessment was based on editing skills. If you were a judge or an attorney, you were based on evidence and quotations and actual facts from the novel that we read. Research and analysis, reading comprehension, the writing tasks, can they elaborate, support, using citing, all of that stuff is 8th grade New York State standards. As far as the news reporters, I tried to pick personalities that I thought would get a kick out of being creative and using their creative side and their figurative language, which is also another New York State standard. And I tried to put not just the people's personalities, but also their skill level.
Like that, so I'm going to go to More, Texture, double click on this, take my brown that I've saved.
Class is getting ready, logging in. This will be the first day of our mock trial of Mice and Men.
And then the defense attorneys will then get up and do their opening statement, okay? Make sure you put DA so everybody knows you're the defense attorney, but you got to stand up to do it. All right, Zach and Dan, send it.
Jurors, you can feel free to make gestures. So, if you hear something interesting, you can shake your head no, or
yeah, it says on the thing. Should I copy that? I guess.
Question mark at the end of something. I forgot.
I got it. Nick, did you just make a gesture?
I like Second Life because you're able to like go on the internet and like interact with your friends in like a virtual world, and I think it's kind of cool that you get to like dress up your own person like to the way that you want to seem. Like for the Lenny trial, I had to dress up as a judge and I had a white wig and a robe, and it's fun trying to make it look like the real thing, like in real life.
When you're using your avatar for learning, do you feel connected to that avatar?
Yeah, you kind of do feel connected to it. I mean, because you want it to like look its best for like what it's doing.
If you had done this same kind of a project, a mock trial, in real life, how would it have been different?
If we did a mock trial in real life, when the judge said court adjourned, I think all the debating should have stopped because they were continuing to debating in characters, but I think it should have stopped already because the jury already made a verdict. Second Life was still a pretty good way to do it. It was a little bit more organized.
Okay, great. And what about you?
I like Second Life because it's a lot more comfortable because I don't really like speaking out in front of people, so typing it down is a lot easier.